Okay, so I guess we're gonna call this a brief disclaimer. I'm gonna get right into it. Um, I just want to clarify some things because I woke up to people playing the victim today, and that's usually what cowards do. That's definitely not a big deal, but I just want to clarify a couple things. First thing I want to clarify is I'm not spreading rumors about nobody because I haven't spoke about my experience with Warren Michael Chapman yet. I haven't spoke about none of the things that he's done or said or the way he's acted towards me. I haven't spoke about that. But what is being told is different women that's been claiming that he's basically they've woken up, you know, to him trying to sleep with them. And they've been saying this for 20 years, different women. So, different stories like that about how he took advantage of them. Me, as somebody who was his associate, because he was never a friend of mine, what he did was basically hang around me to mask the fact that he was a homosexual. So, basically, he hung around me for years and years and years and used me as a excuse to say, "Hey, this is why I'm with trans girls." And anybody that knows me, I haven't shown my face yet, but anybody who knows me know I don't know too many trans girls. I got one that I know and that I love, that I consider a sister, who's I won't bring them into it yet, cause anybody that I bring into it, they gonna have to speak for themselves. I haven't dropped nobody's name really, and that's because people need to tell their own story. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm gonna tell my own story. Basically, this person is on the DL, and multiple men have been with him, and they can claim to that. And he would tell you himself if he was telling the truth about how he slept with the girl who had HIV in Rivermont. And right after that, they found her medication and all this and that. And but he says he doesn't have it. So that's another thing. I'm not saying he do it, he don't. I didn't see, any results. But hey, if you don't got it, go donate blood at the same place 3 times. Because you used to donate plasma for a living. Now you don't. So, whether you do or you don't, that's on you. I ain't had sex with you. So whether you do or you don't, that's on you. And that's on multiple women that you have had unprotected sex with right after you found out you slept with that girl who had AIDS. So if you don't have it, okay. If you're undetectable, okay. If you do, okay. I don't care. But that's not a lie. You slept with that girl who had HIV and you called me crying because you have found out days later. And now you claim, oh, well, I only lasted 3 minutes, which is a fact. Multiple girls say you don't last long, you don't get it up, you force them to have sex with you. And that was your excuse. I only lasted 3 minutes, so I never I never caught it. I was in and out. I never caught it. That's his claim. So if he want to live by that, that's on him. So anything that I say is not a rumor. It can be verified and it came from his mouth or somebody else. Me, I haven't said he done nothing to me, so I'm not, and I will talk about what he's done to me. But no, he haven't done anything like this to me. That's why I'm gonna tell my story last, cause the victims are more important than me. The girls who he took advantage of in a inappropriate type of way, their stories are more important than mine. But he's a creep. And I'm not saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, around me, he's very cringy. Like, just, he want to tell me stories about how he used the bathroom on himself. Like, number two. And it's just like, first of all, number one, why would you tell somebody that and think that it's funny or, or, and number two, like, how are you supposed to be a heterosexual man, but you can't hold your bowels? Like, to be having bowel movements on yourself and you're not sick or on medication, to me, it's just, I don't understand it. Especially if you're not allowing anything into there, why you can't hold nothing up in there. So like just the type of person he is. He want to talk to me about that, and he want to talk to me how he sleeps with girls, and and going in the back door, and they're doing number two on his private. Like, why would you want to talk about that to somebody that's just your friend, and they're not even bringing that up? Like, he's very, very cringy, very, very lonely. Very, very, and he want to talk about a Uber ride and paying for an Uber ride. That's not why we had a falling out. We had a falling out because every time I'm around him, I came to his house on two separate occasions and I had to escape. And this man did not want to let me leave, and he just basically wanted to torture me and wanted to sit there and cry about his life and about his problems and about his health and about everything that he had going on. And he likes to play victim. And who wants to be miserable? Who wants a pity party? You know what I'm saying? Who wants to hear that? And then when somebody wants to leave, you don't want to let them go, because he lives in the middle of nowhere. That's where he lives. He's also threatened to shoot up my house and to press charges on me. So, you're supposed to be a gangster. You're not. You left the hood to go join a carnival, Michael Chapman. That's what you did. So you always crying to me about, oh, your mom's on drugs, or, oh, I found out my mom was pimping out my sister in the 8th grade. Now my sister is going crazy and she won't talk to me, and she's on drugs and she's drinking and she's going to jail. She owes me money and this and that and the third. Like, you want to talk about all of that, and you want to just cry about all of that all the time. Like, I don't want to hear that, because this is when I'm trying to leave, and I'm saying, like, if somebody's your friend and they're no longer comfortable at your house and they want to leave, you know what I'm saying? They already gave you money or whatever. And basically, he called me an Uber after me begging him to let me leave. He wouldn't let me leave. I was literally being held captive in his house. I lied to you not. And he calls me an Uber. Mind you, he lives in the middle of nowhere. He actually lives in a place called New Perkin, Indiana. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's away from civilization. So it took hours. It took almost a day for the Uber to come. Once the Uber came, he waited till I got 15 minutes away, 15 miles away, and I was probably on a 30-minute ride. He waited till I got in the middle of my ride. He called me and said, I think you stole my charger, and if I ever see you again, you owe me money. And I said, you never gonna see me again. I'm never gonna give you nothing. I'm keeping 100. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna give you nothing, because I had already gave him money. I gave him $100, but it's not about money. He claims he makes 100K. He claims this and that, but I had already given him money. And if anybody know me, they know I'm not the type of person to be sticking nobody for no money. But that's cool. I'm separating myself from a lot of people these days, because I'm not going to argue about money. I don't have money issues. I've never almost ever had them. So, that's somebody else's story. But for me to already have gave you money, but you just want to call because you're miserable. You know what I'm saying? He claims he's miserable. He's a single parent. He can't find a date. His baby mama is a recovering meth addict. This is all coming from his mouth. He's just crying about everything, this and that and the third. He cancels my Uber probably at 12 o'clock in the morning while I'm in a deserted area. Mind you, I don't know nobody. Mind you, I was getting the Uber ride to the airport so that I can get home safely. Like, what kind of friend is that? What kind of friend is that will put somebody's life in danger? And he says, oh, don't worry about it. I do it all the time. That guy's a really nice guy. I'm like, bro, my Uber ended in the middle of the woods. And he laughed because he thought I had to walk another 15 miles. But what happened was I just begged the Uber driver to take like the last $25 that I had in order to get me home safely. And that's what he did. So I barely made it home. And that's a friend. That's a friend of 20 years. Let's just say it was an issue over $50 or a misunderstanding. Would you do that to a dog? Would you do that to a stranger? Would you do that to a stranger knowing they're in a foreign land? You know what I'm saying? They don't have hella cash on them. You know what I'm saying? People miss out on cell phone services, depending on where they at. Would you do that to somebody that you consider a friend that just wanted to get away from you? You know what I'm saying? If you wasn't so bitter and so miserable, and that's what somebody like that does, but now you want to play the victim. Oh, because I cancel you. Tell the truth. You cancel my Uber ride at midnight in the middle of nowhere just because I didn't want to stay at your house anymore, and I had to beg you to call me an Uber, and I gave you $100 earlier that day, and you swore to God all day you didn't have to give me $100. You didn't have to give me $100. You didn't have to give me nothing. But when it came down to this $50, because somebody's addicted to drugs, so they needed $50 for the Uber ride at 12 o'clock at night in cash. They couldn't take PayPal. They couldn't take no type of other no type of payments, transactions where they were online. They needed cash at midnight, or it was gonna be a problem. And the Uber sitting right there. I'm supposed to go run and get you cash when I'm telling you I can send it to your phone right now, but you want to make a fight. Like, just because you continue to try to speak negatively about me and damage my character, I will continue to let these people tell their story, and I'm going to tell mine. But it's not really about me. These are stories that's been said about you for years, for 20 years. And as a friend, I tried to overlook them, which is crazy because I should have never done that. So I'm going to continue to tell my story. I'm going to continue to tell the things that I've seen. And but first, the victims are more important than me. The victims are way, way more important than me.